What is up, my friends? It is John Smoltz Day here on Flippin' Bats, which it's once a week, every single week. We have the Hall of Famer from the Atlanta Braves on the show. This week's really cool because John is set to do this from a really cool location in Lansing, Michigan, 10 minutes away from where he grew up. It's the John Smoltz Strikeout Baseball Stadium. The grand opening is Friday. And he's doing this conversation in the middle of this stadium where they'll play pickup baseball, 1-on-1 to 5-on-5. He'll explain. I'll have him talk all about it. Really cool. He's so excited about this, and it honestly looks awesome. So, this week, we're going to talk about where he's doing it from. We're going to talk about Dodgers Yankees over the weekend, World Series rematch. What did we learn about those teams? He also watched Shohei Ohtani pitch his second live batting practice on the mound. He got to see that. I'm going to talk about that, what his return will be like, and what he thinks his return will be like. Lance McCullers Jr. just won his 50th career game on the mound. It's been a brutal 3-year stretch for him with injuries, but he's back. Has John ever seen a similar sort of journey to what Lance McCullers has gone through? And we're over a month away from a trade deadline, but let's at least start having the conversation. And I'm going to ask him, when you look at teams that need to make a move, who's one team that jumps out to you that it absolutely has to happen? And have you ever been a part of trade talks, especially that 14-year run with the Braves winning consecutive division titles? Obviously, they were very good, but did your name ever come up, and how did it make you feel? This is going to be an awesome conversation, as it is every single week with John. Hope you all appreciate it. Please make sure you're following, subscribing wherever you listen or watch. If you watch, like the video, subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment. I love hopping in the comments and talking to you guys. We are getting close to 56,000 followers, subscribers on our YouTube channel. Really excited to get there. Appreciate you all as always. Without further ado, from John Smoltz Strikeout Baseball Stadium, let's welcome the man himself, John Smoltz. All right, and I am pumped, as we do every single week, to welcome in the Hall of Famer, John Smoltz, who is somewhere that we haven't seen him before. John, how are we doing this week, and where are you?
Well, I'm in Lansing, Michigan, and in the inaugural John Smoltz Strikeout Baseball Stadium is opening this week. So I'm actually standing in the stadium. It's a neat little stadium. I grew up on strikeout baseball. The architect, Jeff Lazarus, and his dream, it's all come together. Our grand opening will be Friday. I've played a 7-inning game, and my arm is shot. Rubber ball and a baseball bat, and you can see all the outs and homers and singles and doubles and triples are all on the wall. So it's an absolute going to be a blast for the kids.
That's really cool. So what's the goal of this place? What's your goal with this
The
stadium?
goal is to get kids. You can't play pickup baseball, right? So you can play 1-on-1 to 5-on-5 is the most you can play. Free for all the kids. They just show up. We've got the rubber ball and everything stays in the stadium. There's a net above us. And it's just going to get kids to get out and play baseball, which they normally couldn't do because you know how hard it is to play pickup baseball.
That's awesome, John. That's really cool. Congrats on this place. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you about, you were in LA over the past weekend for Dodgers Yankees, obviously a huge series, World Series rematch. So my question for you is, what was your takeaway being there, calling that series? Any big takeaway from watching those two teams in person?
Well, you know, the Dodgers' first 5 hitters are unbelievable. I just don't, I mean, you can't think they could do this all year, but with Ohtani at the top and now Betts back in the lineup, it's hard to get through that lineup. If they get any production in the bottom of the lineup, they're tough to beat. They're winning with offense.
Yeah.
They're not winning with pitching yet. They were built to win with pitching. With the Yankees, they're going to have to still get production other than obviously Goldschmidt and Aaron Judge, because you know that's going to come closer to normal. So I still think they're the two favorites in each division. I like the Phillies. I like the Mets. And I certainly think there's teams like the Tigers here in my hometown. They're pretty excited about the Tigers, and everyone now knows they're for real. So that's going to be an interesting matchup when they start playing each other.
Completely agree with the Tigers. First team in baseball to 40 wins. How about those Tigers? John, you were in person when Shohei threw his second live BP session. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see Shohei throw live on the mound? And if not, what are you hearing about him from a pitching perspective?
I did. I saw him from the press box. Looked like the velocity may not have been exactly where he wanted in his command, but that's natural. Those things are going to happen. He's going to look electric one week, and then he's going to have the feel and touch. he's just such a good athlete. He's going to navigate this perfectly. And who would have thought that they were going to need him immediately when he gets in the pitching rotation? So they just don't have enough people in their rotation right now because they've got too many people hurt.
How do you foresee him coming back? We see Strider from a Braves perspective, velo down, command not there. What do you foresee with Shohei coming back? Same sort of thing? Should we expect the same sort of thing?
Well, with Shohei, I would expect the unexpected because the guy's a freak. So I would think you're going to see some dominant games and some games that maybe he gives up the long ball a little bit because the extension. Everything about coming back from Tommy John is trusting extension. Trusting your elbow is completely healed and that your mechanics are back where you want to. Getting the stresses over that elbow, getting up, getting down, doing all the things that simulated games cannot prepare you for. So all the thing he's doing, throwing live BPs, all great, but until he gets in the game, it takes 3 to 5 games to get totally used to being back out there. He hasn't been out there in almost 2 years.
Speaking of guys that haven't been back in a while, Lance McCullers just got his 50th career win on the mound. It's been 3 years for him, John. Just a brutal 3-year stretch with injury after injury. And now we see him back getting his 50th career win. He said it took a while, but I'm finally there. Did you ever have a teammate go through anything similar, a similar sort of journey where there was talent there and then just their career derailed and trying to work their way back and then getting back? Anything similar to Lance?
You know, maybe not from an injury standpoint, but Mark Wohlers went through a really bad spell when he was having trouble throwing strikes. And when he came back and the long journey back and that anticipation, we were pulling so hard for him. I mean, you never want to see anybody go through an injury that takes a long time or the inability to, find the strike zone. And your heart goes out to guys like that because they put in so much time. Johnny Venters for the Braves basically had that same scenario where he had a couple, Tommy Johns. I think he ended up having 3. So that definitely is not something you ever want to see.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting closer to the trade deadline. We're not to the realm of where we're having serious conversations, which is kind of the point of this question. When you look right now, what's one team that comes to mind that's just like, well, they need to make a move? The team that comes to mind when it's like, this team needs to make a move at the deadline for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are really a lot of teams in that category. I think the Chicago Cubs are going to be in a spot where they're going to anchor their club somehow, some way, in putting them over the top and maybe getting that division and securing a postseason. I think they're in that position where they could add, but there's a bunch of clubs, right? Everyone's going to be looking to Pittsburgh. Everyone's going to be looking to Miami. Everybody's going to be looking to the bottom teams that, necessarily aren't in the mix and that they look to do the same thing every year. But I think the biggest thing that these clubs are going to always look for is that starting pitcher. I don't know where they're going to find it. I don't know if the Marlins are going to be in the mood to move Alcantara, but I think that's always the play. There's definitely some hitters out there that I think could make a difference for some clubs, but I still think it's going to come down to the starting pitching.
I got one for you, John. Tell me if this is crazy, but they're in a really tough division. They're not playing as well as they wanted. The Arizona Diamondbacks have a lot of guys that are coming up on free agency this year, including Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez. Could we see a team like the Diamondbacks, if they don't really turn it around, start trading away and get some big names back for some big-time players?
Absolutely. I think it's going to take those kind of trades and those kind of moves when a team evaluates where they're at and evaluates themselves against the rest of the league. The National League is strong. If somehow they were in the American League, I'd say no, they're not going to do that. They'd have that chance, but they're in the toughest division in baseball. Right now, maybe not ending up that way. Dodgers could pull away, but that's kind of the team that you're looking forward to after the All-Star break if they don't get off to a good start and they're too many games back.
Yep, absolutely. Were you ever a part of real trade conversations during your stretch with the Braves? 14 consecutive division titles. You guys were rolling, a great baseball team. You're becoming a Hall of Famer at the time. Were there ever trade conversations where your name was brought up?
They always are before you get that 10-5, 10 years in the big leagues, 5 with one team.
Yeah.
And then once I got to that point, I was safe. fate. But yeah, you always hear your name a little bit being tossed back and forth. But I was pretty blessed and pretty fortunate to have that run and to stay with that team as long as I did.
John, really appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on this opening, and I'm pumped for you. Really cool background, really cool stadium, and really cool to do this interview with you today from here.
You got it. Thanks a lot.
Of course. See ya. All right, just wanted to thank John for joining us here, as he does every single week. Always a good conversation. You could see the excitement on his face from where he is, his own stadium in Lansing, 10 minutes from where he grew up, and the grand opening's on Friday. So if you're in the area, go check it out. John Smoltz is a legend, and he is clearly super excited about this place, and as am I. This is awesome. So really cool to talk to him and see how excited he is about it. Really cool to hear him talk about seeing Shohei Ohtani throw live batting practice and how he thinks he'll come back. He's a freak, as he mentioned, so hopefully he comes back and dominates as we know he can. Really fun conversation as always. Again, please make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're also on YouTube where you can watch every single episode. At Flippin' Bats Pod is our YouTube channel. You can watch everything. Please leave a comment. I love hopping in the comments and responding to everyone, having a conversation about whatever you think. It all really does help as well. Follow us on social media at Flippin' Bats Pod everywhere. Really fun episode. This weekend, I am in Denver at Coors Field for a home run derby charity event. Been there twice, won the event twice, reigning champion. Let's try and win this home run derby again. Hopefully our next episode, I'm coming in with a trophy from the home run derby, but hopefully, most importantly, we have won or raised a lot of money. This is for UC Health. We do it every year in Denver at Coors Field. So excited to be a part of that once again. I'll tell you all about it next week with our next episode. So enjoy the weekend, everybody. Some really fun baseball happening. Thanks again to John Smoltz. Thanks again to you all. Love you guys. Love this community. Until next time, remember, find your bat and flip it. Peace.